just below my pelvis, which is basically what you see now. Now, after my surgeries, my family and I were told by the doctors that I would never sit up by myself, that I would never walk by myself, and that I probably wouldn't be a functioning member of society. But my family and I refused to believe that. So we set out to prove to not only ourselves, but the rest of the world, that I could be just like everybody else. Now, believe it or not, me not having legs hasn't been the biggest challenge that I faced. For me, the biggest challenge that I faced was figuring out not only how I find happiness, but how do I find purpose? And how do I find a job that not only provides income, but that makes the world a better place at the same time. And for a long time, I didn't know how to find that. I'm originally from the United States, and I grew up in the state of Wyoming. And I was working in corporate America after I finished college. And I had everything that society where I grew up told me that I needed. I had money, I had a car, I had, my best friend and I rented a house with a pool in the backyard. This is my family, by the way, and thank you. But I also had a pool in my backyard. We were renting, but we still had a pool out of, all of our friends being in our mid-20s and having our own pool in our own backyard was a big deal. But even though I had all of these things, it didn't make me happy. And I thought, did I do something wrong? Have I failed? And it was 8 years ago that a good friend of mine called, who knew I'd been struggling, and invited me to go on a Me Too volunteer trip to Kenya to help build a school. And at first I was like, what? I told my friend, I said, standing on my hands, I'm 2'7" tall. I'm pretty sure that's a snack to half the animals in Kenya. And I don't want to be Meals on Wheels, thank you. But I realized that if I was truly going to start a new journey, I had to step outside my comfort zone and take a risk. So in March 2008, I went to Kenya. And although it's cliche, it's the best way I know how to describe my journey. It truly was life-changing. I fell in love with the scenery, I fell in love with the sunsets, and more specifically, I fell in love with the people. Now, while I was there, I learned about Mark and I learned about Craig, and I got to see firsthand how We Villages was literally changing these people's lives. I got to walk with the girls and collect water with them and carry it back. A day in the life. We helped build a school and took that school that you saw before, that Mark mentioned. I learned about We Villages and we changed that school from this.